And welcome back to Pure Nebraska. Here on the program on Mondays, we like to hear from the Alliance for the Future of Agriculture in Nebraska, or AFAN.
Yeah, and today AFAN is connecting us with some Nebraska leaders who recently attended an event where their mission was to promote Nebraska as a great place for business. So joining us now is AFAN Executive Director Kristen Hassebrook and also Rick Nelsen with NPPD. Thank you both for being here today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. So you guys recently returned from IPPE, or the International Production and Processing Show in Atlanta. So Kristen, we'll start with you. What was that all about?
So it's a traditional trade show experience where manufacturers and companies related to production and processing of meats go to sort of showcase their products. But AFAN and Nebraska and NPPD traveled there to promote the state as a place to do business, as a place for those types of companies that support meat and poultry processing to consider expanding into Nebraska or locating here.
Yeah, I know there's a big push to get more livestock production in Nebraska. And Rick, I know NPPD is very interested in economic development. Maybe tell us more about your involvement in this.
Okay. Well, NPPD has a long time history of being engaged and involved in economic development. And if you look at our service territory, we're right now serving in 85 of the 93 counties, serving 80 communities where we're the local provider, 46 communities where we're selling power to the community, but still working with them, and 25 rural power districts that are buying their power from us. And those are the customers that are providing power to the farms and the ranches. But if you look at livestock development, livestock production development, it's really important to the economy of Nebraska. These opportunities allow the opportunity for families, farm families, to stay on the farm or another generation to return to the farm, and then enhance the economy of the local community, keep the schools open, and so forth.
Yeah, and by showing your efforts in these rural communities and what NPPD is doing in all these counties in Nebraska, I think that maybe generates some more interest in people wanting to come to these rural areas.
Very much so, and you know, it is really a partnership. As Kristen mentioned, AFAN was there. We had 3 of our communities that were also there working on the effort with us, and the State Department of Economic Development as well. If you look at livestock development and how it ties to the rest of the economy, there are roughly 35,000 food processing jobs in Nebraska. 26,000 of those roughly are in meat processing, of some value-added processing of meat in some fashion. So, and 15% of the 15% of the jobs in a typical rural county are in manufacturing. So manufacturing is important to our rural communities as well. And if you look at those numbers in a metro community, they're under 7% manufacturing. So livestock is just one piece of the puzzle of our ag economy and our economy of the state as a whole.
I know we're seeing some pictures here, Kristen, of I believe the trip to Atlanta. Did you hear any good feedback, I guess, from being there?
We absolutely did. Several folks commented that Nebraska was actually the talk of the show due to the Costco plant and the Lincoln Premium Poultry efforts in Fremont going in up there. And there were lots of folks at the show who were interested to know how that project was coming along, and they're keeping their eye on it and hopefully keeping their eye on Nebraska for their next project.
That sounds good. Well, thank you guys. We appreciate you coming in today.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. We appreciate that.